from dominating the fourth generation of K-pop to suddenly disappearing from the spotlight. That's the story of NewJeans, once one of the biggest girl groups of their era. After setting new standards for simplicity, style, and sound, the group now finds themselves trapped in one of the most talked-about legal battles in idol history. And on October 30th, the court will finally decide their fate. Will NewJeans return to the top, or will this be the end of their era? When NewJeans debuted in 2022, they didn't just join the K-pop scene, they reshaped it. Their minimal concepts, soft vocals, and nostalgic Y2K styling stood out against the flashy, high-concept trends of that time. Songs like Hype Boy, OMG, and Ditto dominated charts, and for a while it felt like no one could touch them. But after a year of breaking records and collecting rookie awards, everything came to a halt. Legal disputes, management chaos, and long silence from the members left fans wondering, can NewJeans ever come back to the same spotlight they once owned? Because right now, the K-pop landscape they left behind has completely changed. Groups like LE SSERAFIM, IVE, aespa, ITZY, and IDOL have stayed active, dropping back-to-back comebacks, global tours, and major brand collaborations. Meanwhile, the fifth generation has officially arrived. Groups like ILIT, Baby Monster, and Kiss of Life are rising fast, gaining millions of views and new fans every week. So even if NewJeans wins their court case, the bigger question is, will the audience that once made them a phenomenon still be there when they return? Let's look at the possibilities. If NewJeans wins independence from Adore, it opens the door for a creative rebirth. They could rebrand, experiment with new sounds, and rebuild their image as artists in control of their careers. Their international fan base, which remains loyal and active online, could become their biggest strength. And because their aesthetic still inspires countless TikTok edits, fashion trends, and indie pop visuals, they already have a blueprint for a strong re-entry. But if the court rules in favor of Adore, things get complicated. The group may need to operate again under the same company they tried to leave. And that could test their chemistry and motivation moving forward. In that case, the agency will need to carefully rebuild trust with both the members and the public. Otherwise, even a comeback might feel forced or disconnected. However, it's important to note, this outcome isn't guaranteed. The situation could still evolve in many ways, depending on how both sides handle the aftermath of the ruling. Another factor is timing. K-pop moves fast, and momentum is everything. Groups like IVE and aespa have learned to dominate the calendar by spacing out releases strategically. If NewJeans plans a comeback too late, they risk being overshadowed by the new generation. But if they plan it right, say with a surprise drop or documentary-style rollout, they could use the comeback after chaos narrative to their advantage. Remember, K-pop loves a redemption story. If the group plays it smart, framing their return as growth rather than recovery, fans might rally behind them even stronger than before. Music-wise, NewJeans has something others can't easily copy: their sound. That dreamy, lo-fi, understated vibe still stands out in an industry filled with high energy and noise. If they can evolve that identity without losing it, think a more mature, emotional version of what made them unique, it could mark the beginning of their second chapter. Fashion will also play a key role. NewJeans started entire trends with their casual, street-meets-retro style. If they come back with a slightly evolved aesthetic, simple but sharper, it could reignite their influence both in Korea and globally. Of course, the biggest challenge is regaining public trust. Some casual fans already moved on to newer groups. Others still support the members, but feel disconnected after so many months of silence. To win them back, transparency will matter. Whether through documentaries, interviews, or personal messages, fans will need to see their side of the story, unfiltered. And if they deliver that narrative right before the court verdict or comeback announcement, it could turn public curiosity into anticipation. There's also the global side of the equation. Western media and fashion brands still love NewJeans' image, their Dior and Chanel connections, their brand campaigns, and their viral performances. That international recognition doesn't vanish overnight. Even if the Korean market remains tense, global audiences could fuel their revival first. Think of how Twice and Red Velvet managed to rebound internationally, even when local momentum slowed. NewJeans could follow a similar path, using festivals, brand collabs, and digital content to rebuild gradually. In the end, everything depends on what happens on October 30th. The verdict will decide whether NewJeans starts over or restarts under the same name. But one thing is clear, their story is far from finished. K-pop has seen countless groups rise, fall, and rise again. And if any group has the creativity, influence, and fan loyalty to rewrite their fate, it's NewJeans. Because sometimes, disappearing isn't the end. It's just the calm before the next era begins.